Assalamualaikum and hi to all my beloved students. So how are you so far today, class? Hope that you still stay motivated. And so for today's lecture, we are going to look at the balance of chapter 2, which is concept of NBC. So in our previous class, we already learned about the UBC, and now we're going to look at the NBC and NBA. What is National Bibliography Control (NBC)? NBC is the process that involves collecting and cataloging materials of the national venue. When we talk about the process, it is a series of actions, steps taken in order to achieve an activity. Do you still remember what is cataloging materials? Cataloging is a way of describing materials to make them easy to identify and locate. A catalog describes all the materials in a resource center. It's like a key to the collection. It helps users to identify useful materials and know where to find them. Therefore, cataloging materials are books and other printed materials, audiovisual materials. For example, we have video or audio cassette. There are four objectives of bibliographic control. The first one is planning of National Library. When we are talking about the planning class, it is the process of the arrangement of National Library collection. We know that there are huge material collections in National Library. Therefore, we need to arrange this collection by having a process which is called NDC. The next objective is to contribute to the nation's own library and information network. The objective of NDC is to is to contribute material collections to our own nation's library. Therefore, by doing this, people all around the world can have access to our collection. Objective number 3 is archival collection. This means the collection of library are selected for preservation. Why? We need to preserve these library materials because of enduring value. Maksudnya the information is lasting over a period of time. It is a durable collection. And the last one is responsible within the nation for finding and recording of material. Okay, so maksudnya kat sini, it is easy for the users to find the materials and recording of materials for the benefit of the National Library Information and Archive System. Next, we will look at the NBA, which is National Bibliographic Agency. So what is NBA, guys? NBA is an organization that is formed in the circumscription of the National Library System. Therefore, the task of bibliographic control for national level is given to the National Library in every country to implement the efforts of collecting and cataloging the materials. Do you still remember what is bibliographic control, guys? Bibliographic control is an activities involved in creating, organizing, managing, and maintaining the file of bibliographic records representing the items held in a library. The NBA is the organizational unit established within a country's library system which undertakes responsibilities for prepare the authoritative and comprehensive bibliographic record for each of a new publication issued in the country according to the International Standard Bibliographic Description, or ISBD. What is ISBD? ISBD is a set of rules produced by the IFLA to create a bibliographic description in a standard, human-readable form, especially for use in a bibliography or a library catalog. Therefore, the function of this ISBD is to offer consistency when sharing bibliography information. The second responsibilities of NBA is to publish those records as soon as possible in national bibliography. Alright guys, so these are the summarization of National Bibliography Agency responsibilities. So the first one, we have enhancing the national bibliographic control at national level. The second one is prepare the authoritative and comprehensive bibliographic record based on the International Bibliographic Standard, or ISBD. And the third one is publish those records as soon as possible. Okay, let us take a look at the first responsibility of NBA. When we are talking about the enhancing class, it is further improve the quality of bibliographic control at national level. Do you still remember what is bibliographic control? As we mentioned before this, bibliographic control is creating and managing the file of bibliographic record represent the items held in library. There are 5 NBA main functions. The first one is to collect item materials. So basically class, this agency will collect the materials, will collect the books, will collect the printed and non-printed materials from the publisher or from the author. Okay, so after we collect the materials, we need to prepare an authoritative bibliographic record. So what is bibliographic record, class? Bibliographic record is a description of the materials. For example, we need to identify who is the author of the material, what is the title, what is the subtitle, edition, series, place of publication, publisher, and so forth. Okay, next, the function of this agency is to produce the national bibliography. Okay, so what is national bibliography, class? Each of the countries in the world have their own national bibliography. For example, in Malaysia, in Malaysia, we also produce a national bibliography, which is Malaysia National Bibliography. So this national bibliography is a non-commercial publication that attempt to list everything produced in a country under a national library or other governmental agency. Okay, next we move to the next function, which is to develop and implement international and national standards. Okay, so we need to have a standard, we need to have a protocol, procedure, in order to exchange, in order to have a consistency when sharing our bibliographic information, when sharing our collections to other countries. So among the examples of international standard is ISBD. ISBD is the acronym for International Standard Bibliography Description. And the last main function of NBA is to help in exchange of bibliographic records within the country. Okay, so meaning that each and every country in the world can access the information. We can share the bibliographic information among the countries in the world. There are 11 NBA additional functions. The first one is act as a center for the National Depository. When we talk about depository class, it is a place where things are stored. So meaning that NBA is act as the center, as a place where collection materials are stored. The second function is act as a center for national publication, meaning that NBA is a place to produce materials collections pertaining to every country. For example, in Malaysia, we have Malaysia National Bibliography. Number 3, to handle authority files for author names and corporate bodies. Okay, so meaning that we need to have new record for each materials. Okay, we record files for author names or the owner of the materials. Number 4, in doing cataloging and preparation of national bibliography, we need to prepare the rules and regulations. We need to follow the rules, follow the regulation, follow the procedure and protocol. One of the examples of rules and regulations that we need to follow is ISPD. Why we need to have these rules and regulations? To have a consistency so that people can access and share the materials easily. Number 5 is act as an agency for National Cataloging Center through the preparation and dissemination of bibliographic record. Okay, so meaning that NBA is act as an agency or center for new books to be cataloged. Okay, so once we get the new materials, once we collect the materials, we need to do descriptions for each of the materials. For example, the title, edition, series, and so forth. The next NBA additional functions is handles the giving of the International Standard Book Number ISBN to the published books in the country. As I mentioned before this, ISBN or International Standard Book Number is assigned to books. These numbers are usually 13 digits long and contain information such as where the book was published, the publisher, and the specific edition of a title. Number 7 handles the National Union Catalogue. Union Catalogue is a list of the combined holdings of several libraries, meaning that each of libraries combine to produce material under one roof. Number 8, analyzing and indexing the book monograph and serial contents according to the certain subject. General indexes cover a broad variety of topics and index popular magazine, newspaper, and some scholarly journals. Index consists of short information with adequate bibliography citation. So meaning that index is a guide to the contents of any reading matter or other documentary materials which provides a systematic order. The next NBA additional function is implementing the Catalog in Publication or CIP. So what is CIP, class? CIP is just a basic cataloging data prepared before publication by the National Library of the country. Okay. Next, we move to the number 10, which is act as an exchange center for delivering and receiving bibliographic records in any form. Okay, so NBA is an act of giving one thing and receiving another, especially of the same kind, in return, meaning that we share our national materials to other countries. And the last one is helps in giving input on specific subject in the international information system. We create the information system database to list or input the materials and specific subject for the purpose of easy selection when accessing the materials. Okay class, as you can see in this image, this part is called as a CIP. So meaning that CIP is just a basic cataloging data of each of the materials that we catalog. We prepare this CIP before we do the publication, and usually this CIP is done by each of the National Library of the country. For example, in Malaysia, kita ada National Library of Malaysia. We take a look at the examples of NBA in Malaysia. In Malaysia, we have Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia, PNM, or National Library of Malaysia. So this NBA is appointed as National Bibliographic Center, okay, and National Policy for Library and Information Service. So National Bibliography Center is responsible for bibliographic control, the publication in Malaysia, and the National Policy for Library and Information Service is a broad course of action or statements of guidance adopted by the government at the national level in pursuit of national objective. In Malaysia, we have 4 acts that are closely related to National Library of Malaysia. The first one is National Library Act 1972. The second one is National Library Act Amendment 1987. The third one is Deposit of Library Material Act 1986. And the last one is Book Preservation Act 1966. So what is National Library Act 1972 and National Library Act Amendment 1987? Basically, these two acts is for the maintenance of the National Bibliographic Network, the National Bibliographic Database, and the provision of the National Bibliographic and Documentation Service. The second act is Deposit of Library Material Act 1986. Under this Deposit Act of Library Material Act, it is compulsory for all publishers in Malaysia to deposit 5 copies of printed materials and 2 copies of non-printed materials to National Library of Malaysia. What is the responsibility of PNM? PNM is responsible for collecting, preserving, and making accessible to the public every title published in Malaysia. Furthermore, PNM is also responsible to compile Malaysia National Bibliography or Bibliografi Negara Malaysia. As we mentioned before this, Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia also act as a National Depository Center. Okay, so this National Depository Center was established under the Deposit of Library Material Act 1986. So what is the function of the center? The function of this center is fully responsible for the enforcement of this act in the effort towards the building of a national collection of publication received under the Deposit of Library Material Act 1986 and the Preservation of Book Act 1966. There are 2 following services that are offered by National Depository Center. The first one is International Standard Book Number, and the second one is International Standard Serial Number. So what is ISBN? ISBN is a number, is a code that is assigned to book. International Standard Serial Number is a number or code that is assigned to serial. So what is serial class? Serial is periodicals, for example, magazine. My question is, why we need to have this standard? We need to have this standard because of consistencies, yeah, to offer consistencies, especially when sharing bibliographic information, especially when when we share our information to other countries. PNM has been appointed as National Depository Center for Malaysia with the objectives of: the first one is providing the conservation and availability of material published in Malaysia. Number two is to create uniform bibliographic records, yeah, meaning that we create a new records for each of the materials that we collect or publish in Malaysia. Number three, making a statistical records of material published in Malaysia. These are the functions of National Depository Center. The first one is to promote the Deposit of Library Material Act 1986. So meaning that it is compulsory for each of the publisher to send their printed and non-printed to library. Number two is to trace and obtain publication. So meaning that we need to find the agency, yeah, the agency need to find or discover by investigation publisher mana yang fail to submit the materials to library, okay, and then the center needs to prepare the statistic, okay, so meaning that it is regarding the data collection, organization, interpretation, and presentation of the data. Other functions of National Depository Center is to supervise and execute the enforcement of Deposit of Library Material Act 1986. So meaning that it is compulsory for each and every publisher to send their printed and non-printed materials to library. Some of the publisher is difficult to deal, meaning that they fail to send their materials to library according to time frame. So if they fail to follow the act, they will be imposed a penalty. We have come to the National Bibliographic Center. Just a quick background of the center. In 1966, it was known as the National Bibliographic Unit, and since 1977 until 2002, it was unit under the Bibliographic and Index Division, Cataloging Division, and Technical Service Division. Starting from October 2002, this National Bibliographic Center is a division of its own, headed by a deputy director. The objectives of this center is to ensure the materials received under the Deposit of Library Material Act 1986 are documented according to the national and international standards. The second objective is to maintain national bibliographic database, and the last one is to facilitate information search and retrieval for reading and research purpose. These are the product services offered by this center. The first one, we have Malaysia National Bibliography, or MNB. Next we have indexing, cataloging, and next we have services to publisher, ISBN /CIP, and the last one is metadata. As we discussed before this, Malaysia National Bibliography is a bibliography which lists all library materials published in Malaysia. And this Malaysia National Bibliography is not only consists of printed materials, but it also consists of non-printed materials, and this bibliography is for sale or free or limited circulation. Index consists of short information with adequate bibliographical citation. Among the types of indexes are periodical index, selected Malaysian periodical, which is magazine. Next, we have conference and seminar papers and Malaysian newspapers. This is the examples of periodical index. So as we can see here, there is article title, and then there is author, periodical title, date, volume number, issue number, page, and so forth. And this is a conference index. Basically, there are three services offered by National Bibliography Center. The first one is ISBN, the second one is ISSN, and the third one is cataloging in publication. NLM or Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia has been appointed as two centers. The first one is Center for International Serial Data System, ISDN. So this center is responsible of issuing ISSN, and the second one is the National Center for ISBN, which is responsible of issuing the ISBN. ISBN is essentially a product identifier used by publishers, booksellers, libraries, internet retailers for ordering purposes, for listing, for sales record, and stock control purposes. ISBN identifies the registrant as well as the specific title, edition, and format. Basically, there are 13 digits, 13 code assigned to a particular title and edition of a book published by a specific publisher. These are the scope of ISBN, meaning that the ISBN covers materials in terms of imported books without ISBN, and this ISBN covers all the loose leaf publication, for example, newsletter, pamphlet, Pathfinder, and then it also covers educational and knowledge type of audiovisual products, for example, cassettes, video, ebooks. This slide is related to ISBN structure, which means the arrangement between parts of elements of ISBN. Every ISBN consists of 13 digits, which is preceded, come before the letters ISBN printed in bold. The 13 digits number is divided into 5 parts of variable length, each part being separated by hyphen or space. Now we have come to the ISBN structure. As we already discussed before this, there are 5 parts of ISBN. The first one is code for book industry. The second one is group identifier. Next we have publisher identifier, title identifier, and check digit. What is code for book industry? Code for book industry is a code best represent the book publisher. Group identifier. Group identifier identifies the National Geographic or other similar grouping of publisher. This identifier relating to a geography physical feature of an area of the publisher. Publisher identifier. This part identifies a particular publisher within a country or group. Title identifier. This part identifies a particular title or edition of a title published on the materials, books published by a publisher. And the last one we have check digit. A check digit is a form of redundancy check used for error detection on identification numbers. Basically, this check digit appear at the end of the 10 digits of the ISBN or the 13 digits of the ISBN. Check digit is calculated automatic by the system. It is an automatic check by the system on the correctness of the ISBN. For your information, one material, one publication is for one ISBN, meaning that ISBN cannot be reused. So this is the purpose of check digit, to check the error detection or the redundancy of ISBN. This is the summarization of ISBN structure. Okay, the first one is number code represent industry code. Next, we have code that represent group identifier. Okay, followed by code identifies publisher. Next, we have code that identify title, and the last one is check digit. This is the examples of publisher code. Okay, this is the publisher code, the numbers or code that represent the publisher. Okay, for example, we take Merlin Press as an example. Merlin Press is a publisher, and their publisher code is 85036. Therefore, this code is represent the Merlin Press. How to print ISBN code? Basically, ISBN code is printed on the reverse of the title page on the back of the cover. Okay, you need to remember, once ISBN is allocated, it cannot be reused. One ISBN is for one material. That is why we have a check digit in order to check the redundancy used by the materials. And this ISBN printing is free of charge, and this service is offered by National ISBN Center. For example, in Malaysia, we have a National Library of Malaysia ataupun Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia. So this agency will offer free of charge printing of ISBN to publisher. These are the benefits of ISBN to publisher. Okay, the first one is to promote and facilitates the ordering and acquisitions of books published in Malaysia, both at national and international level. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, ISBN is essentially a product identifier used by publisher, booksellers, libraries, and so forth. Therefore, the benefits to publisher is in terms of acquisition yeah, acquisitions of books, meaning that for ordering of books. Next, we have promote sales of books published in Malaysia in local and international market. Okay? ISBN can increase the chances that your book will be found. ISBN is a must, is a necessary for printed books that are distributed in a retail bookstore or in libraries. The next benefit of ISBN to publisher is ISBN is an important element in the bibliographic description of publication. Yeah? You still remember what is bibliographic description, right? Bibliographic description is a way we describe the materials, yeah, to make them easy to identify and locate. For example, we have description or information about each material pertaining to author, who is the author, who is the title, yeah, edition, series, the place of publication, publisher, date of publication, and so forth. Next, we have strengthens the ownership of the books by publisher. So meaning that if your books have ISBN, therefore it will strengthen the ownership of the books by publisher, because one publisher is for one ISBD. It cannot be redundant. Next, we have ISSN. So ISSN is the abbreviation acronym of International Standard Serial Number. Okay, so this is a number code that is assigned to periodicals, for example, magazines. So usually this ISSN is an 8-digit number which provides for a universally accepted, brief, unique, and ambiguous identification code for serial publication. International Serials Data System (ISDS) is the center that is responsible for the assigning of ISSN to serials published in Malaysia. So this center manages ISSN record and sending them to the International ISDS Center for checking. How about the printing of ISSN? The ISSN should be printed in top right hand corner of the cover of the serial issues ataupun magazine, and these 8 digits sign should be preceded by the letter ISSN and grouped into two parts of 4 digits each, separated by a hyphen. Why we need to have ISSN? The benefits of ISSN to publisher is it can advertise Malaysian serials to both local and foreign users, and as well as to promote the acquisition of Malaysian serials, and it also can increase and promotes the sales of Malaysian serials both locally and internationally. By having this ISSN, it can allow easy access to literature on periodical published, and this ISSN code can be appears as part of the bibliographic description in national bibliography. So meaning that class, ISSN, even though the number is designated for different materials, tetapi in terms of the benefits tu adalah sama with ISBN. The next service offered by National Library of Malaysia is cataloging in publication, CIP. As we discussed earlier, CIP is just basic cataloging data for our work, prepared before publication by the National Library of the country. Okay, CIP is a service provided by National Library to publisher, which enable new Malaysian books to receive cataloging data before they are published. And this service is free to publisher. All publishers are encouraged to participate in the service. This slide indicates the coverage of CIP, meaning that the area that the CIP covers, to what extent the CIP covers. So basically, CIP covers all books published in Malaysia, such as reference book, children's book, which is published by federal or state or commercial publisher. However, the materials that the CIP cannot cover is textbook, non-book material, and then we have special publication, for example, telephone directory, calendar. So this material cannot be covered by CIP. This is the illustration how does CIP works. Okay, so before publishers send their materials to PNM, Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia, the publisher need to prepare their necessary details, necessary information pertaining to their materials. For example, title page, the publisher need to have a table of contents, need to have a preface, okay, and the publisher also need to prepare the introduction, the CIP information, and the descriptions of the contents of forthcoming books. Okay, so after the publisher prepare this information, okay, next publisher send their information to PNM, and PNM will receive the information from the publisher. Once they receive, PNM will prepare the cataloging. Cataloging description including classification number and subject heading for each new title. Okay, so after PNM prepare the cataloging, the CIP data will be sent to the publishers within 2 working days after receipt of the relevant document. Okay, the PNM send the CIP data to publisher. CIP data tu maksudnya the cataloging tu lah. Okay, next, after receive the CIP data, the publisher need to print the CIP data. Okay, meaning that publisher print the CIP data on the verso of the title page according to the format given. Itu sajalah. There are several benefits of CIP. The first one is CIP helps libraries and booksellers in the selection and purchase of new books. As we already know, CIP is the basic cataloging data, prepared before the publication being published. Okay, meaning that CIP ni adalah data yang terawal before library process the book. Okay, next, the benefits of CIP is to provide sales promotion for the publisher as their new titles are brought to the attention of users. Okay, why we use this CIP is because to have a consistency, is to have the standardized library cataloging practice, with which encourage the national and international exchange of information on new publication. Okay, for your information, CIP is not only practiced in Malaysia, tetapi being practiced through other countries as well. Okay, so the functions of a CIP is to have a consistency, especially when sharing the information, when exchange the information to other countries. And the last one is CIP assists libraries and information centers in cataloging. Okay, as this CIP is a basic cataloging prepared before the publication be published, therefore dia memudahkan the Department of Cataloging to speeding up the processing of books. This is the sample of CIP record. CIP record is basic cataloging data, guys. Yeah. So as you can see here, this is the cataloging data. Okay, we have author, we have title, and then we have edition. Okay, and we also have ISBN. Now we move to the new subtopic, which is Librarian Association of Malaysia, or also known as Persatuan Pustakawan Malaysia (PPM). So the functions of this PPM is to gather all librarians in Malaysia, regardless of any types of librarian. The vision of Librarians Associations of Malaysia, or Persatuan Perpustakaan Malaysia, is to be leader of excellence in the development, promotion, yeah, and support of Malaysian library and information professional. Okay, among the examples of information professionals are the lecturers, yeah, lecturers of information management, like lecturers of library science, teachers, yeah, we have library and media teachers, okay, in global knowledge industry. The mission of Librarian Association of Malaysia is to recognize that librarians and information centers are the strategic resources. Okay, as we know that library and information center is the place that consists of huge numbers of population. Therefore, we want to make this center as a center for reference, tempat rujukan for national development. Okay. Other than that, the mission of Librarian Association of Malaysia is to create the society, yeah, to create the information based society, and to create the knowledge based society, meaning that we want to have a society that is full of information, that is full of knowledge. These are the objectives of Librarians Association of Malaysia, or PPM. The first one is to unite all persons engaged in library work or interested in libraries in Malaysia. So meaning that to come and bring together for a common purpose, which is togetherness in library work. Okay, next we have to promote a better library administration, meaning that to have a better process or activity of running an organization or association. Okay, the third one is to encourage professional education and training for librarianship. Okay, training too is for teachers, is for lecturers, yeah, is for all the information professional that deal with library works. And number 4 is to undertake, promote, and encourage activities such as help a conference, help a seminars, workshop, meeting, forums, yeah, for the advancement of libraries and library profession. Alright guys, so these are the activities of Librarians Associations of Malaysia. Activity is a list of things that this association does or has done. Okay, so the first one is publish Bulletin Berita PPM, and monograph on library and information science. Bulletin is a short official statement or summary of PPM activities throughout month or year. Okay. Number two is whole professional development programs, including annual conference, okay, seminars, workshops, and courses. Number three, activities. Library Association of Malaysia, as a member of the International Federations of Library Association and Institution, IFLA, meaning that IFLA is a leading international body representing the interests of library and information services and their users. Librarians Association of Malaysia, or PPM, is a member of the Conference of Southeast Asian Librarians Council. Council, which was founded in Singapore, is a platform for librarians of Southeast Asian nations to have a dialogue and to promote cooperation among the Southeast Asian librarians, for example, Malaysia. Next, we have activities, which is co-organizer of the Biennial Persatuan Pustakawan Malaysia PPM. Biennial is taking place every other year, meaning that it taking 2 years to organize activities with library associations of Singapore and so forth. And the last activities of Librarian Associations of Malaysia is to present awards of excellence for students from School of Library and Information Science. Okay class, that's all for today. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to WhatsApp me. With that, I see you later. Assalamualaikum and bye bye.